if you said a rotation means to turn, you are correct. So again, our three transformations is translation, which means to slide. That means we're either going up, down, right, or left. A flip means that the shape is going to be flipping over, right? So flipping over, it would be over either the x-axis or the y-axis. And with a turn, the shape would be rotating or turning around, just like a merry-go-round. So it'd be turning. And you would either be going counterclockwise, which this movement would be anti-clockwise, also known as counterclockwise, or we would be moving clockwise, or with the clock. So let's go ahead and figure out what combination of transformations. We know it's going to be more than one. So if we know it's going to be more than one, let's go ahead and try this out. So to go from position 1 to position 2, I needed to move my shape down. If we are moving down, so for the first part, we're moving the shape down. If we're moving down, well, let's connect it back to our definitions over here on the right. We said a translation means to slide up, down. Oh, I just found it, right? We're moving down. So if we're moving down, that means we're sliding. So the first thing we did was a translation. Down. Okay, so we figured that part out. Now let's figure out, how did the shape get to where its position is now in position 2? Notice there's a difference between the shapes. We're looking at this little dot right here. How did that dot get pushed to the side like this? Well, did it flip over the X or Y axis? No. There's no reflections happening. If it reflected, the shape would look something like this. Or it would be over here. Right? So I'm not seeing any of those things happening. So it's definitely not a reflection. Which leaves one more possibility. It could be a rotation. Notice how the shape turned, right? The shape turned. So I'm going to go ahead and write that in. The shape turned. And which way did it turn? Did it go with the clock? Remember we said anti-clockwise was this way, or that's against the clock, anti-clock, or what we also known as counter-clockwise. Or did we go this way, clockwise? Did we go with the clock? To me, it looks like the dot moved in this direction, which looks a lot like an anti-clockwise movement. So the shape turned. So if the shape turned, then it was a rotation anti-clockwise. Okay, so it looks like we have our combination here. So let's go down and let's see what our answer choices were. It says which combination, remember, combination more than one transformation, so more than one transformation, was used on the top triangle to result in the bottom triangle below. So we said that the shape had to move down. And remember our 3 transformations. We have translation, we have reflection, we have a rotation. So we said the shape slid down. That was our first movement. So it slides down. If it's sliding down, that means it's translating or translation down. Okay, so already I can cross off this one because we didn't say anything about a reflection as the first thing. We said it's a translation. So there's 3 answer choices right now that we got. Our second movement was, remember, looking at this dot, I'm coloring it in red, and the dot or the shape moved around going against a clock. So we said that's going to be a rotation, right? So we have a translation first, rotation second. So it turned anti-clockwise. Well, if it turned, that means we know it's a rotation. And it went counterclockwise. Because anti-clockwise means counterclockwise. So let's go through. Oh, well, it's definitely not C, right? So now we have 2 that it could possibly be. Well, remember, 90 degrees equals 1 turn. 180 degrees equals 2 turns. 270 degrees equals 3 turns. And if it comes all the way back around, that's a complete 360, which is 4 turns, right? So how many times did this shape turn? If you said 1 turn, I agree. So it's a 90-degree counterclockwise rotation. So our answer would be A.